Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Harika. So in previous videos, we have seen different types of or the different ways that we can actually push the data into the database, right? So with all the understanding that we have acquired till now, I'm going to start a small mini project, I can say. So let's see what I'm actually focusing into, what I'm actually referring to. Okay. So first of all, if you see the folder here, I have my folder. Okay, so let's consider there is a school, and in that particular school we have students from class 1 to 10. Okay, so these are the details of all the students. So after finishing of all the exams and everything, so the details of the students will be getting updated here against the student name and the ID. The marks, grade, and the class of the student will be provided here. So what I have to do is the details, everything will be mentioned in this particular folder for all the students who are studying in that particular school from class 1 to 10. So now there is a centralized repository where I have to push all the data from all these excels into one particular database. Okay. And someone maybe from the admin section can have access to that particular repository where they can access whole data at a time. Instead of segregating this, I should have they will be having access to fetch whole data by using the operations that they can do on the SQL. So let's see how we can actually do this just in a simple terms. Okay, so just come to this folder. This is my folder. Okay, this is all classes students data, and this is the data where I have my information that I have shown you. Okay, so just go to the database. Let's create a workflow. Let's go to design. So here I would say, so the first is from the school side and the second is from the admin side. So let's create the workflow from to upload school students data. This is the workflow that we will be using to push all the data from all the files that are there in a particular folder. So for that, the first and the foremost thing we all know, which is connection. So just do a connection. I'm just using the same connection because instead of doing things multiple times, we have already created it. So after that, what I have to do, I have to insert the data. Once after I establish the connection to the database, I have to insert the data into database. So what data I have to insert? I have to read it from the Excel. But is it a single Excel? No, we have a collection of Excels, right? So it's a file where we have all the Excel files. So how can I do that? For each row in data table, we all know this part, right? So what I'm doing, for each row in that particular data table that I'm getting, I will be passing this query. This is my execute non-query, where I will be passing the data from each row, the current row, and I will be passing it to an argument. That argument will take the data and insert into students details table in the database. Okay, but here the question is, where is the data table? Okay, let's read it from using the read range. Okay, of this range. But the challenge is, let's come here and then give the output as dt class table. Okay, so that table I am passing over dt class table. But here I have to pass my class 1 table first, and then class 2 table, class 3 table, correct? But I don't want in that way. I want things to be running automatically. So how I can do that? So for which I am taking for each. Okay, so just pull for each. So here what I'm doing, for each Excel file, at each time, what I'm doing, for each Excel file, I'm picking Excel file at a time, and I wanted to read the data in it, store it into an data table, and I wanted to create the rows from that particular Excel. Okay, So for that, just get we have a class called directory dot get files. So we have to get the files from where? From this particular folder, all classes students data. So just you can just copy this copy this information, just go over here, right? And from this particular, let me expand this for you. Okay, so I wanted to get the files from this folder. So what files are those? I want all the files which are ending with an extension of SLSX. Okay, so this is the extension. If you see here, I have put a wildcard which is star. So whatever is there before is XLSX, I am not bothered about it. It can be class 1, class 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm not bothered about it. I wanted to get all the files from that particular folder which are ending with XLSX as an extension. Okay, .xlsx. Okay, and this is perfect, and we have to change this to string. Okay, this is done. What this contains for each, so let's say class sheet. Okay, for each class sheet, I'm reading it and writing it into a data table. After writing into the data table, I am assigning the values. So here there's an error. Let's go and fix that. Just perfect. So every time I'm reading the data table Excel sheet, and I'm passing it to data table, and for each row in that particular data table, I'm creating the row line item. So this is how I can actually, so just by running this workflow, I can create all the values that are there in the Excel sheet over here. But before to that, let me delete it. So make sure that we don't have any data now. Excuse me. So let's come over here, and then I will run this file. So if you see, the process has finished execution in just 1 second, and let's execute this. If you see, we've got 56 rows of data into our database. Okay, so if you see class 8, class 5, 4, 9, 1, all the classes 7, 6, 10, 3, 2, all the classes data is being reflected over the database. So now what I'm going to do, from the database, you can actually write a condition here where, you know, class is equal to 1. Okay. So if you see, we have got the data only for the type of class 1. So like this, you can actually execute the query. So let's go into the second part. This is how we can easily push the data from the Excel sheets that we have in a particular folder into our studio, into our SQL. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I am going to create a new sequence where I have to fetch the students data. Okay, so I'm going to fetch the data from that particular database. So we all know, for fetching the data, we will be using the select query, right? For that, we need execute query. Just a slight modification I have done over here. Okay, what is it? What is the modification? Where, just give a where here, or you can just copy that directly from there to here. So class is equal to student class. Okay, just give this parameter name, and then let's take it from here. Okay, parameter. So this is the variable that I've declared. So we have seen how we can declare these variables and everything in the previous video. So that's why I'm not going to iterate or show it again now. So here I'm taking an input dialog where let's say if this workflow is run by an admin or class teacher who wants to get the data of the students that are from a particular class. So how we can do that? Provide the class information and then please enter the class details. Okay, and what is the value? Student class value. Okay, so that value will be going over here and then we can actually get the value. So there's an error. Let's see what it is. This one. Okay, so based on that data we can write the data back into our workbook. Okay, so here I can just say, maybe I can save it with this name, class student class value and then dot xlsx. This would be the name of the class, and from which table we are actually writing data output table. Okay, so this will provide me an Excel of that particular table. So just debug this. So let's say I wanted to fetch the information of only from the class 10. Okay, so how can I do that? Here just go and give in the value as 10 and then execute. So it contains 11 rows. Okay, 10. Given path format is not supported. Okay, did I miss something over here? Okay, student class value is the variable, right? It's of type string. Let's take off the special characters, otherwise I'll just remove it off and then we'll rerun again. Just give 10. Okay, so just that colon which is not supported in the path, so I have deleted it and then just refresh it. So we can see class 10.xlsx, which should replicate these 11 row items. So I forgot to give the header. Just provide in the header, add header, and then run file. Give class 10. Okay, just come over, refresh, and then class 10 details are here. Right, we got student name, student ID, marks, and the grades, everything, and these are as expected. We got 11 rows, right? So this is how we can actually do we can push the data, pull the data, and also fetch the data with certain conditions, and it's quite simple. So even if you have an automation where you're dealing with huge data, this will be very much helpful with respect to automating the database, SQL database with UiPath. So I hope this is clear. So going forward, if you have any questions on this, do let me know in the comment section. And also thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe to my channel for more interesting learnings.